Hello, Philippines. Well, here it is, a beautiful sunny day, and I got ready to do a little work on our vlog here on our YouTube channel. Went to sit down at my laptop, and guess what? No PLDT fiber again. When it's working, it's outstanding. But the question is when's it always going to be working? Their service is great, but the infrastructure along the roads and the quality of the installations are not that great. So you all drive down the Philippine highways, you look up, you see all that, you know what that is. That is cable wires, that's fiber wires, all that mess. That's not your electrical lines on the most part. That is the cable companies, the telephone companies. That is their wires that are all jumbled up, twisted and tied together, big old huge rolls that they didn't even cut. They just left, extra 200 feet rolled up and tied off. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And all along those roads is all the potential for your internet to go out. And all down the highway everywhere, and that rat's nest of wires is all the potential for your internet to quit. But the company, when it's working, it works great. And I'll have to admit that when I call them, they do get on out and fix it. It's not always the same day. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it can take them several days. It's just according, I guess, to what all they have going on. But we're trying to run basically a business, because YouTube is a business. If you're a monetized channel and you're putting your time in recording like I am for you right now, and you're putting in endless hours of sitting at a laptop and you're editing and you're giving up your personal free time, and that pretty much means it's a business. It's a job. Well, we earn from that, because you want to earn when you work, right? You want something for your time. Not everything can be voluntary. The reason why I have to have more than one service here, and let's talk about that right now. So when this goes down and I can't manage my YouTube, I have to have something to fall back on. Well, in August of this past year, 2022, I brought from the United States my Starlink service. Now, to clear up some confusion, I did not buy this in the Philippines. This is a USA account that has been brought to the Philippines. I bought this in the US and brought it here on what they call a RV mobile account, which can be used internationally. But I'm paying a pretty hefty price for that. I'm not going to deny I'm paying a pretty hefty price. But when I have times I can't manage my YouTube, and we have other business to manage too, I need to stay connected. I've got stuff back in the United States I have to work and manage with, plus the content. Plus we are actually building an Airbnb here. Not necessarily going to register with Airbnb, but it's going to be an Airbnb type property, kind of like a bed and breakfast, beachside right here. A little quiet, quaint place. People are going to need to contact us, and we need to either be able to be reached via Facebook Messenger or a phone call. So that's going to be pretty important to us, okay? And if you have everything down, you're losing money. You're losing money. Now, why would I want to pay for Starlink and PLDT both? Well, in my case, because I still want my Starlink to be mobile. If I leave this place and I want to go back to the US and I have no internet back there, I'll throw this little unit in my suitcase and I take it back to US and I get it out and I point it at the sky, and boom, I have my internet there. If I want to take a trip to Baguio, I can take it with me there, point it at the sky, boom, I have internet there, because I'm on an RV mobile account. I do not know if they're operating that in the Philippines like that. I don't know if you buying a Philippine service, if they're going to offer a RV mobile account. It's so new here right now. Let's give it time and see. But this is what my account is. If we leave here and I take my Starlink with me, and we have people here working and they need to manage bookings for a room or something like that, there's no internet. So I need a internet always here. I could possibly get 2 Starlink accounts, keep this one and another. But if PLDT will stay going, and if they would just improve their infrastructure, it's still a good service too. I'm not going to deny it. It's a very fast, good service. And one important thing that you're not going to get, at least for right now, with Starlink, you're still going to be able to pick up a phone and get a dial tone and be able to make calls. So that is a plus and minus right there with Starlink versus PLDT or Globe or any of those other telephone type companies, is that you can still get a dial tone and make a phone call. So there's the plus right there. I'm sure there's some options to work around that, but we wanted a dedicated number that people will be able to call here and say, hey, do you have a room available on a certain date, or I got to cancel, change, or can I find out what time I got to check out, all of those things. So landline was pretty important to us. But now Starlink is available in the Philippines. You can place your order right now, and they're filling on first come, first serve. And there's already people receiving their equipment, they're receiving their units. So maybe you're curious of what it's going to entail. And I put out a video recently and you asked some questions and all. So let's go into a little bit of answering some of your question time. So one of the questions that was asked in the last video I put out is, do you have to have electric service? Well, yes, you do have to have electric service. This is not battery operated. It has a power cord. And for you that want to know, is it a switchable power? Say, for instance, the United States power versus the Philippine power, one being a single phase 110, the other one being a single phase 220. Yes, it has auto switching inside on the power supply, so you can safely plug in your unit from abroad into the Philippine power or vice versa. So I have not yet seen in the boxes what kind of power cord is coming with the ones that's coming here in the Philippines, if it has a different type of end that's more common for the Philippines, or if it has a standard end that's common in the US. So if any of you received yours, give me some feedback and tell me, how did your plug look on the end? Now, again, multiple times people asking about how long will it last on the charge. There's no charge. It has to be plugged into power. Power cord plugs in right there. So when you get your box, this is your Wi-Fi modem. That was another question. Do you have to have a router? This is the Wi-Fi router, like the modem right here. This wire right here goes right out to your satellite dish. Plugs in here to the bottom. You want to be very careful with this cord, okay? This cord is connected straight into the dish outside. And if you damage this cord, you're not just going to run down here anywhere and get a replacement. You're going to have to order it, and it's going to entail some labor, some work to replace it inside of the unit. So the utmost care must be given to this cable. It's pretty durable, but I know how things can get treated pretty rough here in the country, and this is not an item you want to treat rough. You're going to find yourself in the extended downtime. Give this special cable a lot of care. Give it a lot of care. It's going to come with about 75 foot of cable, if they're still providing that the same as when I got mine. And you can run it through a wall or anything, but you don't want it where it's getting pinched, like a window being closed on it or a door being closed on it, okay? Now, another thing is people want to know if it had LAN ports. Well, you see on here, it's blank. This is the cable going out to your dish. This is the power cord. There's no other ports anywhere on it. There's no on-off switch. There's not a reset. There's nothing there. Pretty simple. Just a nice little heavy base that you can set. And if you want to know what I mean by LAN port, let's look at this right here. Those are your LAN ports right there. See, LAN 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, no, it has no ports of any kind. So what do you have to do? Well, you have to buy this adapter cable right here. So, right here, this is the cord going out to the dish, and this is an adapter that plugs in line on it, and it gives you one LAN port. Now the price when I bought this little adapter cable to give you one LAN port was $25 in the United States, so I'm not sure what they're going to charge in the Philippines, because there is some adjusted pricing for some of this in the Philippines versus the United States. So what if you have more than one thing that you need to plug up to a LAN port, right? If you have more than one device that you want to just hardwire straight in, well, you can go ahead and buy your own router if you don't already have one, and plug your own router in right here, and then use your own router to split and have more LAN ports. It's very easy. For instance, I have already been doing that here. So I have a router downstairs in my garage, and that way I can get service down there. So what I have right here is a LAN cable coming up. It's plugged in right here, and it goes right all the way down and plugs into my router in the garage, and boom, I have Wi-Fi down there. And then on there, you can share out more LAN ports. One of the other things that people ask is, how many users can it support? Well, honestly, I don't know if there's a limit. I have got, probably 8 or 9 devices of our own right here in the house connected to it. Let me do a little thinking and count on that. So between my wife and I and the household items here, we maybe have like 10 items connected to it now. Plus we've had many guests here, and we share our password to all of our guests, and they will all be on at the same time. I've probably personally experienced about 20 devices going at one time, and it's not been a problem at all. So I can't honestly legally speak out and say they have a limit or they don't have a limit, but I can just tell you from personal experience, it'll run quite a few. Another question that's been asked is, do they provide you a static IP address or is it a dynamic? I don't have that answer. I want to just be honest here. I don't have that answer. That's something you're going to need to get online, go to Starlink's customer service, write them and ask them, can you provide a static IP? If you do get that answer, share it to me as well. I would like to know. So I'm asking for a little feedback from you guys as well. Let me know if you can get a static IP. Static IP, for you that don't know, that is an IP address that is assigned just to you only, okay? Where a dynamic, it changes all the time. So if you got some dedicated servers, dedicated websites, things like that, you're probably going to need a static IP. Good question. I'm sorry I don't have the answer for you, but if you do get the answer, please write in the comments so that I'll know as well. If some of you already have experience, let me know that, and we can do a little bit of sharing back and forth here. Next question is, do you need an installer to set this up? No, you don't. You do not need an installer of any kind. Unless you just feel totally incompetent, and you'd have to be, honestly, pretty incompetent, because it is that simple. So first thing you want to do, even maybe before you purchase this unit, and this is some really solid advice, so listen here. First thing you want to do is you want to go to the Google Play Store, or if you're on iPhone, go to iOS, go to the store and download the Starlink app. So once you download the app, you can go in the app without even having a Starlink account, okay? You do not even have to purchase a unit yet. You can just go download the Starlink app. Then on that app, it's gonna say, check for obstructions. And you're gonna go outside in a clear sky, okay? Because this is a satellite and it needs to have an unobstructed view up to space. So you're gonna go outside where you think is a good spot that you might be able to set that dish. And you're going to hold that phone up in the sky while this app is going, and it's going to scan around and find where the constellations, the satellites are that are passing over, their pattern. And it's going to count all the way up 99, 100%. And then it's going to give you a result. And it's going to say you need to find a better location. It's going to spin around and show you in the direction that there was a red zone. And that means there might be a big house, a lot of trees or something, blocking the view of where most of the satellite signal is going to come from. So you want to have the least obstructions as possible. So what if you're around real tall houses, tall buildings in downtown Manila, Cebu, whatever city you're in, and you don't have a 360-degree view of a clear sky? It may not be the service for you unless you can get it up high somewhere and with permission of the building owner and safely secure it so it don't fall and hit anybody. May not be for you. What if you're in a thick forest, really thick jungle-like atmosphere? It may not be for you because you need to have clear sky. And if you buy it and you're only hit and missing on satellites as they're passing over and it's struggling to keep connected because obstructions for trees, you're going to swear it's a bad service. But it was really just a bad choice because you should have not bought it if you did not have a clear view to the sky when you run that app. You need to run that app first, okay? And that's some very solid advice. As far as setting it up, pretty simple. Download the app, create an account. You're gonna go in, create an account, put in an email address, all that. You've probably already done that once you bought your equipment and they shipped it to you. You've already created all that. You're gonna unbox it. You're gonna put the little base on it. It's gonna be pretty simple. I'm not gonna go there and show y'all because it's so simple. It's self-explanatory. It's got a little pipe, click into the bottom, got a little base, click into the bottom. It's got a cable, plugs into the bottom of the router, and then plug it in the wall. From there, it's gonna start pointing, doing its own thing. The first time you use it, it's gonna take a little bit for it to orient itself, bring in some data and all, and then you can just step right through it very simply, and the next thing you know, boom, you're online and you have service. You can do speed tests at that time. You might want to give it a couple more hours the next day, do another test after it better orients itself. Pricing. Well, in the comments, people were coming up with just random things for pricing, and it was all untrue. If you want to know what the price is, go to Starlink Philippines. Go to their website. Don't just ask in comments how much is the price. Go to their website for the Philippines, not the United States. Go to their website for the Philippines and all the pricing and everything will be right there. So no, it's not going to be for everyone's budget. Some people are not going to be able to afford it. It would not be in this country if it was not affordable to a large group of people. And trust me, when we even tried to get PLDT, we had to get on a waiting list. And the price what we're paying is not a whole lot different than what Starlink price is. Well, I hope all these things help you, and I hope that you receive your unit and you're not nervous to unbox it, plug it up, and get it going. But I really encourage you to load that app before you make that order. Make sure that you're happy with it, because if you give negative feedback, it might be wrong. It might be your own fault for not doing your due diligence, not the company's fault, and then they'll get a bum rap. Now, I will give you a spoiler here, okay? Here's the spoiler. They haven't officially announced it yet, but they are in development stages of creating a smaller unit, and it's going to be more portable. And you know what? It's going to be possibly battery operated and rechargeable. They have not made nothing official on that. That's been leaked from inside. Some other channels have already leaked that out as well. So we'll see. You know, Elon, he'll make announcements sometimes and it takes him a while to manifest. He'll give one date, but there's a reality for the other date. But it is something in the works, and that's going to open up a whole new world right there within itself, with a small portable battery powered unit that may be coming in the future. That future might 1 year, that future might be 2 years, that future might be 3 years. I don't know. Well, let's wait and see what happens. Everybody take care. God bless. Give your comments down below. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll continue with more updates. Give me your questions. If I can answer them, I will. Thank you.